Hey everyone, here we are. I did it live. I wasn't sure it was going to happen today, to be honest, because it has been such a week. I don't even know where to begin. But I actually brushed my hair and I put on real clothes today, and I put on a little makeup today. So this is a win for me because I have been looking like something out of The Walking Dead for the last week, and it hasn't been pretty. So I apologize. I'm probably going to cough a lot today. You're going to see me blow my nose today. And if that grosses you out, then I'll apologize now for that because it's going to happen. But just wanted to get going here. I'm going to try and stay on as long as I possibly can. But I'm dealing with a very small energy reserve because I am just been so wiped. But please make sure if you're watching this to share this on your personal Facebook page and get other people in today, because I want to make sure if I'm doing this that there's people watching and I'm not just by myself here. So hello. Excuse me. Hello, Facebook Live. Welcome all. As people start to log on, don't forget to share this with your personal Facebook page so that people can get connected. It's December 16th. I can't even believe it's December 16th. I just had an entire week and a half sucked away, I feel like. Speaking of things that I can't believe, today's the first day in over 7 days that I am fever-free. I have been sick with the influenza. Yes, the influenza. It took me down. I have not had a flu like this maybe ever. If this was bad. So many people got the flu around here. And I was, family parties. I was at Christmas parties. I was at my son's Taekwondo events. I was at his school events. I mean, who knows where I picked it up, but so many people, unfortunately, have gotten the flu. And, but everyone else seemed to get over it in about 2 days. But that's not how it was with me. It's crazy how you can have, when you have a disease like systemic lupus and you're on, I know like with me, I'm on 4 different immunosuppressive medications that you take to control your disease, but then it makes it impossible to fight off illnesses like the flu, which is why it's so important excuse me, to get your flu shot. We talk about that, and I just want to stress it again. Those with lupus have an increased risk of developing infections, and lupus affects your immune system negatively and impacts the way that your body can fight off foreign invaders such as germs and viruses and antigens, bacteria that make you sick. And then the medications, as I mentioned, lower your body's ability to fight off potentially serious foreign invaders too. Those are your immunosuppressive medications that you take to control your overactive immune system, which are supposed to be a good thing to settle down your overactive immune system cells. However, it lowers all of your immunity. Therefore, it's really difficult to fight stuff off because it limits your body's immune response and makes you more susceptible. So it's really important for people who have diseases like systemic lupus to do everything that you can to fight off viruses because it just takes you down. And honestly, with 30 years ago, 50 years ago, if someone like me would have gotten the flu that I got right now, probably would have died. So it is super, super important to take care of yourself. I'm gonna cough. Okay. And also it's also really important to advocate for yourself. And I want to tell you a story because I still cannot believe this happened. I was really, really sick, and I thought, oh, it's the flu. They're not going to do anything for the flu. And then my fever went on for days and days and days. So I couldn't get into my primary care. So I went to urgent care down the street from me. It wasn't like a Zoom care. It was actually within my hospital network. And they took my temperature. I had a temperature. The blood pressure obviously was elevated. It's always elevated when I'm stressed and I don't feel well. And then they said, we're going to do a flu swab for you. And we'll be back in 10 minutes. So they swabbed my nose and they came back and they swabbed my nose. And then about 15, 20 minutes later, I had not seen a doctor. The doctor comes in, does not even examine me, guys, hands me my discharge list and says, you have influenza A. Here's your prescription for Tamiflu. Take this twice a day. And it was like, peace out. I couldn't believe that she was discharging me without even putting her hands on me. She didn't even examine me. She didn't look at my nose. She didn't look at my ears. She didn't look at my mouth. Nothing. It wasn't until I said to her, I have systemic lupus, which I'd already told the nurse the whole thing, and I have asthma. I've had pneumonia 3 times, and I know with the flu, I am more susceptible to getting it. Can you listen to my lungs? And can I have a chest x-ray? And she said, begrudgingly, that she would listen to my lungs, but she refused to give me a chest x-ray. When she listened to my lungs, and by the way, I had done my rescue inhaler and my nebulizer that morning because I could not breathe. She said, I hear constriction, but I don't hear fluid. And then I said to her, well, I've had pneumonia twice where it was not picked up on a stethoscope, but on a chest x-ray. And she said to me, here is your prescription for Tamiflu. Go to the ER tomorrow if it gets worse. And that was it. And I was so unbelievably shocked at the lack of shared decision making. She was talking to me like I was an idiot too, which just drives me up the wall. Do you understand, is what she said to me. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. I was like, I killed myself to get here. I have been struggling so much. I cannot breathe. And this is the way you're treating me. This is outrageous. It was just so horrible that I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So if you can, guys, moral of the story is see your freaking primary care. Don't go to an urgent care because they want to give you a prescription and send you on your way. And they don't want to hear about any other extra conditions, treatment. They just want you out of their office and move on to the next. They have no desire for building any sort of long-term relationship with you. They want to just do a quick fix and get you on your way. And I couldn't believe it. She didn't say drink fluids. She didn't say watch your fever if it goes up any higher. She didn't say take Mucinex, do this, nothing, nothing, zero. It was the worst experience I've had in a long time. And um, I think I'm noticing too when I go to the doctor, my blood pressure is elevated. And I was thinking about this more and more. My body knows certain spaces are not safe for me because of the way I've been mistreated by certain doctors in the past. My body knows it. I'm not sure if you have that experience too. Some of you who had some medical post traumatic stress or traumatic experiences with your illness, being gaslit, being bypassed, even being abused by doctors, your body knows it. And so now it's like I have to say to myself, this is not a safe space for me. And do what you can. Yeah, right, exactly, Edwina. Do what you can to get you through what you need to get through, but know that your body is correct in feeling that way. Your body knows when something's not okay. Anyway, it was just such a cruddy experience. It's been such a hard week, guys. Um, I, I still don't feel that great, as you can see. I have snot coming out of me. My nose is completely red because I can't stop blowing it. And I have a really bad cough. My muscles ache. I am so tired. And I've just been trying to pace myself because it's been such a week. Oh my gosh. And besides having the flu, I also had to put my beloved dog down, Jax. My dog was often in this office with me and at my old house too. When I did these checks, I would have him on my lap too. Um, he was my comfort and my joy. For 14 years, I got him as a rescue pup, 8 weeks old in Southern California. He had actually been the night before we got him. He had been rescued from a kill shelter as a puppy and saved by a second chance shelter in Irvine, which is where we were living. And so they had neutered him, and he had saved it. They had spared his life, and we found him, and we had 14 years with him. And back in June, we found out that he had an aggressive oral cancer that had spread to his lymph nodes. He was given 1 to 2 months to live back in June, and we were blessed with 6 months with him. But last week, the vet said it was time and that he was suffering, and so we made the hardest decision to put him down. He was the best dog, guys. And I miss him so much. Such a sweet dog. Oh, dogs bring us such comfort, don't they? And when that presence is gone in your house, there is a deep, deep vacuum that's felt. I had missed him terribly. This is a hard time to lose um, someone you love or an animal you love. You know, I'm thinking about this time last year, and my dear cousin died unexpectedly of a sudden catastrophic illness, and you know his family was in crisis mode this time last year, and now it's still sad. And then with my dog this time, uh, it's just really hard. So that has been my week. And not to be even more of a Debbie Downer, but I haven't had the energy to push for the end of year donations, which I usually do for More Than Lupus, and we're barely scraping by. So guys, if you need to get your tax donations in, please consider donating to us. We are a 501c3 organization, and we survive off of donations, and it'd be really helpful. Anything helps. Anything helps. So, it's just been really hard. I wanted to continue my trend of quoting from a holiday movie. So it's December 16th. I thought I'd start off this chat with a holiday quote. And today is coming from one of my favorite movies of all time, and that's It's a Wonderful Life. And this is the quote from It's a Wonderful Life, which is a Frank Capra film, and I just love it so much, starring Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed. Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives. When he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he? But I love that quote because you could use it for a dog too, right? It's so sweet. So that's your quote today from It's a Wonderful Life. I love that movie. Do you like that movie? It's a long one, but I think it's so special. It's such a beautiful film. So let me introduce myself if you're joining. Sorry. My name is Kelly, and I'm the creator and executive director of the Portland-based nonprofit, More Than Lupus. If you're joining for the first time, More Than Lupus is an inclusive community designed by lupus patients to connect, grow, and inspire you throughout the peaks and valleys of your lupus journey. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I like to do this to remind myself and hopefully remind you you're more than a sum of everything that's wrong with you. I love music and dance and design and chocolate. I love a good book. I love a good podcast. I love connecting one-on-one with people and a good conversation. And yes, I happen to have lived with systemic lupus since the age of 11, and I am your facilitator for today's Facebook Live support chat, hang time, community gathering, forum. Oh, shoot, I'm going to cough again. Excuse me. Oh, I'm hoping I'm going to last longer than this, guys. This is bad. But before I go any further, let me give a brief disclaimer since I tend to get ahead of myself. More Than Lupus is Facebook Lupus Live support chats are aimed to be a positive and open space when you can both give and receive support and encouragement from others. I am not a doctor. I'm not Kelly MD. Therefore, I cannot give you medical advice or diagnose the symptoms that you may be having. All that we can do here is provide you with information and resources that hopefully you can in turn take back to your doctors and have an open and honest conversation about what is the best course of action for you. Additionally, this group is intended for those living with lupus or lupus overlap illness. It's also intended to provide support and encouragement to those who know someone living with lupus. If you do not fall into this category, it's not the right chat for you. Please keep all comments positive, and any inappropriate material will be deleted. And I wanted to remind everyone that the more you care, the more you share, the more other people are aware. So please share this on your personal Facebook page so that other people can get connected. And before I get to today's topic, I wanted to give you some updates. Excuse me. Okay. Our pilot program, Lupus Lifts, is up in full swing. If you're unfamiliar with this program, it's a grant that offers free rides to those in the Portland metro area and beyond to accommodate the many places and spaces one needs transportation to if you have lupus. 1 in 5 adults with limited resources forego healthcare because transportation barriers, and that is 2.5 times more difficult when systemic lupus is combined with nephritis. So please consider reaching out to us today about our Lupus Lives program. We are happy to help you navigate this process and hopefully help remove that barrier to care, one ride at a time. Also, our More Than Lupus holiday pickup party is this Saturday, December 21st, and I pray to all the heavenly hosts that I am going to feel good and be able to be there. It is 10 a.m. in Tabor Space. So then we're also going to have our virtual support group meet at 3 p.m. same day. So come by, have some sweet treats and cheer. Message us if you have any questions. If you are local, please let us know that you are attending so that we can prepare and have enough supplies. Okay. Today's topic is setting boundaries. And let me see if I can find. There we go. During the holidays, when you are around a lot of people, family and beyond, it can be difficult and challenging to set and keep boundaries, right? And honestly, I've said this for a very long time, that one of the most challenging components of having lupus, interestingly enough, is setting healthy boundaries with close people in your life. I am a very consent person. I like having consent and sharing consent to have people talk about my health and talk about my body. I feel very violated when people talk about my body without my consent, or make assumptions. And so, throughout my life or throughout my illness, this has been kind of a challenging thing that I've had to work on and navigate and find how to set healthy boundaries with my body and how people talk about my illness. Because it's very complicated when I have a platform like this and people will see, well, you should talk about it with all these people online. Why can't I talk about it? Or why can't someone else talk about it? And it absolutely comes down to consent. I'm consenting in this moment to share what I feel safe sharing with people who I know understand. And sometimes I don't feel that way. Sometimes I am with people who I don't think understand or will make assumptions or judgments or have hurt me. And I don't feel safe and I don't give consent. So it is really challenging having lupus. Figuring out who's safe, who's not, and what boundaries do is boundaries keep you safe. So throughout your lupus journey, you'll likely encounter instances where people will want to infringe upon your life, their opinions, their reactions, their emotions, their advice, and their projections of their own fragility, and also projecting what you should or shouldn't be doing in your life. And these can feel very violating, very intrusive. And these statements and these actions can be more unpredictable sometimes than even your illness. That is why we're going to talk about setting healthy boundaries today with lupus and why it's necessary so that you can maintain your physical, your emotional, your spiritual, your mental well-being, overall well-being, okay? I know, easier said than done, right? It's super hard. But we're just going to get you started so that you can have some ideas about how you can start. Okay, and I recommend you working with a counselor, a therapist, a social worker, maybe reading some books about this too, and kind of get yourself going. Okay. So, what are boundaries? Let's just go ahead and give you a little definition. I love this quote. So boundaries are limits people set in order to create a healthy sense of personal space. Jen Kennedy, who's a licensed marriage and family therapist, says boundaries give a sense of agency over one's physical space, body, and feelings. It gives you agency. That means it gives you a sense that you are in control of your choices. Okay? You are in control of your choices. Boundaries limit people and set in order to create a healthy space, sense of personal space. So here is a great acronym for the word boundary. I think I've shared this before. So the B in boundary stands for be assertive, say what you mean, and mean what you say. The O in boundary stands for own what it is you set. Identify what boundaries are necessary and own your decision. U in boundary is for understand that there will be resistance. People are used to your family role, whether you are the perfect one, whether you are the extinguisher, whether you are the pacifist, whether you are the externalizer, internalizer. People are used to your family role and understand there will be resistance. They are not used to boundaries, and it will take time for you and others to adjust. Now, the N in boundary is for notice. Pay attention to whether or not your boundaries are wavering. Are you causing confusion due to inconsistent boundaries, or are you being clear and consistent? Do what you say what you mean what you say. Yes? Okay. Then the D in boundaries, don't give up. Setting boundaries is new and it can be challenging, but don't give up just because someone may try to violate your boundary. Keep being assertive and stand your ground. The A in boundary is assimilate. Keep true to your word because all you have to believe is what you tell yourself. This means you need to change your behavior to match your intentions and the changes you are making. Okay? The R in boundary is remember. Remember, it's important to remember that healthy boundaries will keep your relationships healthy. Boundaries help prevent enmeshment and are a part of self-care. Enmeshment is also a term similar to codependency. Boundaries are important for relationships. They're important for self-care. A lot of emotionally immature people are enmeshed in the family, meaning that there's no boundaries, they are codependent, and they feed off each other's codependency. So it's important to remember boundaries will keep your relationships healthy. And then the Y in boundary stands for you matter. Your well-being is just as important as everyone else in your life. If you aren't taking care of yourself and being your best self now, how can you help anyone else? No matter how uncomfortable it is to set boundaries, it's an important piece of having healthy relationships. And I drew that from Psychology Today. There's no original source known for that acronym. If you heard that before, you know where that comes from, please let me know because I find it very helpful. Excuse me. So coping with an unpredictable illness like lupus is stressful, and living with lupus may induce fears of the future, especially trying to navigate shifts between flares and remission and good days and bad. And these fluctuations can perpetuate a sense of helplessness, making it feel like your lupus has become just the director of your movie here and leads every command in every scene, right? And the stress of the unknown can cause anxiety and worry and sadness. But when you're able to set healthy boundaries, it can promote a sense of autonomy. And autonomy can make you feel like even when there's things and variables that you can't control, you can control the controllables on some level. That you are in control as far as possible in what you want and what you don't want. And boundaries can also, I'm quoting a doctor, keep you safe in the relationships, in your work, at home, with your partners, and that's really important. There are several ways to begin setting healthy boundaries in your lupus life. First, tune into your feelings. Ask yourself what feels right and healthy for you. Secondly, set your limits. You can only set good boundaries if you know what your limits are. Thirdly, be direct. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And lastly, make your self care a priority. Putting yourself first is most important in your lupus fight. Don't be afraid to set limits that help you be the best you can. And finally, remember boundaries are all about honing in on your feelings and honoring them in your life. Setting boundaries takes a lot of bravery, a lot of practice, a lot of patience to achieve. And that was from Peace Comes with Boundaries from lupus.net. So, if you're not sure if you have healthy boundaries, here are some great questions from a licensed practicing counselor to ask. I'm just going to post these here. So you can write these down. Do you have a hard time making personal decisions? Do you really hate to let people down? Are guilt and anxiety your primary emotions? Are you constantly the victim of situations? Are you usually a little bit annoyed? And do you secretly feel that others don't respect you? How do those questions settle with you? Is there one or all that made you feel or nod your head? If so, take some time to process and ponder and even wrestle with them. And remember, the purpose of boundaries is to encourage you to invest more of your energy and time into things that you want to do and experience. Remember the acronym JADE. You do not have to justify, argue, defend, or explain your boundaries. Let me put that right here. That's a good one, right? All my notes. Sorry. Also, there are many types of boundaries. There are physical, there are emotional, time-centered, intellectual, sexual, financial boundaries, spiritual boundaries, and it's important to recognize all the various outlets that may drain your energy and your happiness if you do not set healthy boundaries. I love this quote by Dr. Tara Quinn. As human beings, we have our own thoughts, memories, and lived experiences, and sometimes that can become very blurred with someone else's. Boundaries are healthy for helping you identify and keep that space. In addition to setting your own healthy boundaries, it's pertinent to appreciate and acknowledge those of others too, even if they differ from your own. For more helpful information too, I'm going to send you this little link to look up more. I can sense when someone's starting to put a boundary up. If someone says, it's not a good time for me to go. And I say, oh no, why not? Are you sure you can't make it here? You can't do that. You can't do that. You don't want to come. Blah, blah, blah. It's not a good time for me to go. I can't go. But why? I'm going to really miss you. I really want you there. Blah, blah, blah. It's not a time. It's not a good time for me to go. I can't go. I have to say, I respect your boundary. I respect that. Okay, because guess what? No is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. Okay? Yeah. I know people that like to wear you down, right? We all have those people in our life, or many people in our life that are like that. They will not take no for an answer. They'll try and change the situation. They will work under you to try and manipulate things. They'll go behind the scenes to get what they want. They will do this and talk to that person and arrange that behind your back just to get what they want, because they do not take no for an answer. We all have people like that, or many people like that in our lives. Yes. But no is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. Yes. So I think I have to head off here because I'm coughing a lot and taking my breath away to talk. Incorporating healthy boundaries into your life is a pertinent form of self-care. It is self-care, and there's no need to feel guilty about that. If you're living with a chronic illness like lupus, boundaries are no different or less important than eating a healthy, balanced meal, getting exercise, and going to a support group. Okay? It might take some time for you to meditate and consider the non-negotiable boundaries most important for you and the best ways to incorporate them into your life. But when you do, I hope your overall well-being will be better off for it. Okay? So that is my talk on boundaries today. And sorry if it wasn't as flowery as it usually is, but I'm just doing my best to get through because I'm still coughing so much. And I wanted to read, this is such a sweet book, from the Book of Common Courage today. It's a poem. It's beautiful artwork, beautiful book. I love this. This is by KJ Ramsey. She has dealt with chronic illness and chronic pain. And this is what she says. This is your Lupus live quote of the week. It's really a poem. The sky is a choir of peach and periwinkle. Tangerine sings soprano. Each color a promise. The spectrum a story. The only power fierce enough to sing your fear to sleep is beauty. Only beauty can sing stronger than your sense of scarcity. Only beauty can bind you back together when bullies seem to break everything. Only beauty can bring you back to believing God will give goodness tomorrow. Let wonder wrap herself around your angst. You have permission to find one good gift for which to give thanks. Even when the night needs attention too, the bills, the invasion, the diagnosis that loom, you are allowed to look for goodness like a clue. There are gifts that are hidden even in gloom. Dust glints like gold and skies turn sapphire. Beauty is the oxygen that feeds the soul's fire. So when the day is ending heavy with lack, look up and let hope come back. Fear will keep belting out an endless loop of pain, but beauty will sing you back home again. So pretty. I love that. I'm probably going to read that 3 more times today. Well, guys, there you have it. I'll be back next Monday. It'll be about a week before Christmas, and I am hopeful that you are all staying healthy. Just a reminder that my goal is to be there on Saturday at the support group, 10 a.m. Tabor Space for the holiday pickup party, and I hope you have a great one today. I'll talk to you later, guys. Okay, bye-bye.